Yo, close that porn tab. I'm back again with another video. Check this out.
22 years in the military. It's hard for women. They gotta constantly compete. They're not faster, they're not stronger. So they gotta make drastic decisions. They make a lot of up decisions because they have to. They're in a position that naturally they shouldn't be in. And I hate to see it. I got soldiers that died because of decisions that a woman commander made in combat. And so we had to tell her, hey, look, you know what, ma'am? It's not happening no more. If you want to keep your job, you let the XO do it and you just stand there. She became a radio operator.
Alright, so I'm gonna give my take on this. So I don't believe that women should necessarily be excluded from the military altogether. I do believe that there should be the same test for men and women to get into the military. There shouldn't be different tests for each gender because that's not equality. It's sexist. The same thing y'all be complaining about. So if a woman is capable and can pass the test, you should go into the military. I got no issues with that. You pass the test, you're good to go. But when we end up lowering the standards to let women in, I think we are reducing the overall strength of the military because the other countries that are not lowering their standards are gonna kill us. They're gonna kill us. You know what I'm saying? And let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. For any veterans or people that's in the military, I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, so we just talked about the military. Let's talk about the fire department for a little bit.
33-year-old Rebecca Wax just recently graduated from a fire academy, and she will soon be part of the New York Fire Department. Now, she is in the middle of a lot of controversy because she apparently did not pass the physical test necessary to pass in order to become a firefighter.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's not equality. It's not equality. Like, if a man failed a physical test, he is out the door. You think he's gonna get into the fire department? So this right here, in my eyes, is kind of unfair. But now it seems like they're giving out participation points to some women. And I don't think that's fair at all, man.
Now, this number is kind of incredible. Only 44 out of the New York Fire Department's 10,500 firefighters are female.
Damn, 44 out of 10,000. But then again, the average female does not want to be a firefighter. I could just go on the street and ask random girls if they would want to be a firefighter. They would probably overwhelmingly say no.
However, Bill de Blasio, according to the New York Post, has lowered the standards of firefighters so more women can get hired. So there is a little bit of an issue there, but I don't think that standards should ever be lowered, especially when it comes to something as serious and as physical as being a firefighter.
Again, with the lowering of the standards, I do not think the standards should be lowered at all. If I am about to lose my life in a burning building, I would want someone that's capable, physically capable, someone that passed the test to come save me, and not someone who got participation points. At that point, I'll just accept my fate and go to heaven.
This woman on the game show Fort Boyard is a firefighter.
I hope they've taught you how to knock down doors.
Definitely.
In you go.
Oh no! This is tough.
As high as you can.
Yeah.
As high as you can. As high as you can.
Take a bigger run up. She's a hard lady.
Go on, Jane.
Remember the elbow. Big run as fast as you can. And high. High. High.
So close.
As fast as you can. Well done.
Get going. Oh! Jane, come out.
Come out.
Jane, that was such a great effort.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just 2 more throws and you would have been there, but that's tough for you.
Imagine if that was you in that building, burning to a crisp, waiting for someone to save you. At that point, you might as well just accept your fate because that door is not gonna get knocked down, man. You're gonna be burned alive. So now this is an average man doing the same thing she just did.
A man with no firefighter training has no trouble with the same task.
It's a bit of an ouchy one, I think. Be aiming higher, that's it. He's got it! It's on the floor. Okay, brilliant, he's got the key, come out! Oh, yeah! Okay, fab! Brilliant, well done!
And see, he was just more useful for the job. And this is not being sexist. This is not being hateful. This is not being racist. This is not being misogynist. This is just pointing out a fact. This is an important job right here. Being a firefighter, you literally have people's lives in your hands. You are responsible for the lives of people. It's important, and we have to treat it as such.
A woman can actually fail the physical component of the fireman test and still become a firewoman to meet female quotas. Firewomen are paid exactly the same as firemen, who are more physically able and better suited to the job. This is wrong, and a very substantial pay gap should exist in the fire service, and also other services. That's right, you heard it here first. Male soldiers, male police officers, and male firefighters should be paid more than women.
Yeah, so I went ahead and looked this up. There is actually a pay gap between the male and the female firefighters. So they said women earned 87 cents for every dollar earned by men. But then again, you have to think about why it is the way it is. Just keep in mind, the male are willing to work more hours. They are usually sent into more dangerous situations. Just by that alone, I believe that they should get paid based on their performance. If you're out there doing more dangerous shit, I think you should be getting paid accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So this next video right here, I actually found it on YouTube, and it is a domestic violence experiment. So in the first scenario, we have the woman hitting the man, and this is how the people around him reacted.
I didn't text her. I didn't text her. I didn't text her, okay? I said I'm sorry. I didn't text her, I'm sorry, alright?
So now this is what happens when the man starts hitting on the woman.
I don't want you anymore! What are you doing? What are you doing? What?
The woman. Go away.
She keeps hitting me.
Go away. Go away.
She keeps hitting me.
Go away.
I want my rights.
Break out. You don't gotta stay. What's up? Leave.
And I just want to point something out with you guys. I don't know if you guys felt the shift in energy, but when the guy was hitting the girl, you could clearly feel the difference in energy and the difference in violence. But when the girl was hitting the guy, you didn't feel like that threatened, right?
Walk away from her. What are you gonna hit him?
We're not deep down inside. We know that men are capable of more physical harm than a woman, which is why we're not gonna sit around and watch a man beat up a woman. We're gonna protect, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna protect the woman, the one that's more vulnerable. I do not care about how much of equality you believe in. If you see a man beating up on a woman, you're probably gonna do something. And it doesn't matter who started the fight, the man will always be in the wrong in the situation. That's just the way it is. That's how society is, and we know this. So I found this video on TikTok, and I know the word simp is a big thing, especially nowadays. So in a lot of y'all's eyes, this man would be the biggest simp.
Do you remember the broke and poor Indian man who managed to end up with this girl who has a net worth of $5 million, who lives in a big luxury house and is part of the royal family bloodline? Well, you wouldn't believe how they are now 47 years later. Mahendra comes from a poor family who had very little money, that he didn't even manage to finish his art education and had to start work at a very young age, where he started drawing for people on the street for 12 cents a painting. But before you think his life is unlucky, this was actually the best thing ever. Because one day, a young blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl asked him to paint her a portrait on the street, and Mahendra instantly was attracted to her. So much that he managed to go on many dates with her and even took her home to meet his parents during her time visiting in India. But things got weird when it's time for the girl to head back to her country. Because when the girl asked Mahendra to follow her back by giving him money to take a plane over, he refused, as he didn't want to be seen as a gold digger to her rich parents and wanted to earn his own money to travel to Sweden. And because of that, they were separated and communicated with only letters while Mahendra worked and saved everything he had. But sadly, even after a year, he still couldn't make enough money to buy a plane ticket. That's when he decided to do the unthinkable. He sold everything he owned and bought a bicycle and decided to cycle all the way to Sweden. And after 5 months of traveling, he finally reconnected with the love of his life, where they got married immediately, and after 47 years later, they are now still happily married and has 2 children. With Mahendra now being a famous artist for the Swedish government too, which is why their story is proof that no amount of distance and time can stop true love.
Yeah, man, it's just stories like this that make you see that, like, love, there's actual love in this world, you know what I'm saying? Because that shit wouldn't happen nowadays. I have respect for this man, because even though he was dirt poor, he denied her money. He wanted to make it on his own. And that probably showed her that he wasn't a snake that just wanted to be married into the family. You know what I'm saying? I would have did the same thing, I wouldn't want to accept the money from a woman. But nowadays, a lot of men wouldn't do that. They take the money from the woman happily. They wouldn't try to get it on their own. And that's why a lot of y'all men are pussies out there, bro. Part of our duty as a man is to provide, protect, go through adversities, become strong. We aren't meant to be coddled. So yeah guys, and with that said, I'll see y'all in the next one, man.